So spatial computing, including AR, VR, and other immersive tech, continues to have ups and downs that's characteristic of early stage industries and hype cycles. So through all that, what are the biggest lessons in spatial computing over the past year, and what's the outlook for the next year? This is the topic of a recent artillery intelligence report. So what we're talking about here is the full spatial spectrum. So that's AR, VR, and all their revenue subsegments. And in the past year, the introduction of AI into the mix. So when looking at all those subsegments, one example is AR marketing, which has done quite well, including sponsored lens placements in places like Snapchat. And the category as a whole is projected to bring in about $5.5 billion in 2024. We also have consumer VR that actually had a down year in 2023, due mostly to the waning life cycle of Meta Quest 2, which to date has been propelled by Meta's massive investments in marketing and R&D and loss leader pricing for its VR hardware. So the good news is that those drivers still apply, and the timing is right for Quest 3, which Meta hopes will reinvigorate demand and stimulate a VR replacement cycle given its well-rated hardware and, importantly, the integration of mixed reality. So zeroing in on that mixed reality piece, it utilizes full-color HD pass-through cameras which bring in the outside world. So that not only creates a less insular and more user-friendly UX, but it also expands VR use cases for things like fitness and gaming and productivity apps that incorporate the real world. So think platformer games or floating virtual monitors for workplace use. But in fairness, Meta isn't first to mixed reality, given hardware from Vario and others, but its ability to bring VR closer to the mainstream tells us that mixed reality in VR will become table stakes in the next year. But stepping back, the other thing that mixed reality does is enable and elevate AR. In other words, AR can live on and be incubated within the more mature and penetrated VR hardware market, and this exposes AR among a broader set of new users. And that's what Meta wants, so Quest 3, among other things, is Meta's bridge to its longer-term AR ambitions. So speaking of longer-term AR ambitions, that's defined as all-day AR glasses, and mixed reality in VR is just one track towards that endpoint. The other is low-immersion smart glasses, where the primary design target is wearability and style, while the UX richness is toned down. So for example, Ray-Ban Meta smart glasses don't even have a display system, so camera inputs detect the world and identify objects, while audible outputs whisper situational intelligence to users, which is a form of audio AR. So in other words, the value lies not in the graphical richness or dimensionality, which has been AR's guiding principle so far, but rather this new standard in relevance of the information being delivered, such as social or local signals or personal assistant functions. And the key factor there is AI as it continues to collide with XR, and this convergence will really unlock value for smart glasses in terms of an intelligent UX, and we're really only just starting to see the beginnings of that vision. So that just scratches the surface, and you could read more in the full report, but synthesizing a few of these themes, we talked about the two tracks towards the eventual holy grail of all-day, graphically rich, and stylistically viable AR glasses. So we have mixed reality within VR, and then lower immersion smart glasses. And players like Meta and Apple and Google will bet on both horses, which each drive towards that holy grail and meet somewhere in the middle. So the big question, and it'll take several years, is which modality gets there first. But in the meantime, there will be lots of innovations and outputs along the way that are valuable in their own right.